Iha samsare bahudustare kripaya pare pahi murare. The Acharya has stressed the need for prayer. It is a very difficult, shoreless ocean, and no matter how much effort we do, we cannot guarantee we'll cross that ocean of life. So the prayer is very important. Self-realization is God realization, has minimum dependence on society, enjoys life like a child or a madman. Only a prepared and a purified mind can seek the purpose of life. The world basically is a projection of the mind. When the mind ends or is dissolved, the world also dissolves. And the example is, into us in a common world, is deep sleep. Wherever there is a vision of difference, there is fear, anger, greed, pride, envy, and jealousy. Welcome to session 6 of Bhaja Govindam. Please close your eyes, bring your left palm and right palm together, your logical mind and your intuitive mind, touch your heart to activate your Anahata chakra. Om Ganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Aim Saraswate Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. May the Supreme Consciousness protect us all, nourish us all, vitalize us all, enlighten us all. May there be no misunderstanding between us, and may we bring forth our best energy to this session. So it is, by the grace of God and Guru, so it is. So I will do a recap of our last session, what we talked about, and then we will request Samta, who has kindly agreed to do the chanting of the last 5 verses, and we'll continue with, today will be the last 6 verses to finish the Bhaja Govindam course. And the next one will be a recap, a revision of everything. So we started, last session, we discussed the need for suffering to create mumukshutva, that longing for Govinda Tattva. And we have spent several sessions understanding the Govinda Tattva, that internal control of your intellect, your mind, your sense organs. And for that, even though we have to do a lot of preparatory practices and everything, but the Acharya has stressed the need for prayer, specifically prayer for release from this infinite cycles of life and death, because for the soul to be born into embodied is very painful. Life itself is full of sorrows and suffering, and even the process of death, when the prana is extracted out of the body, is very painful. So there is a need for self effort, but also heartfelt prayer. So it says, Iha samsare bahudustare kripaya pare pahi murare. It is a very difficult, shoreless ocean, and no matter how much effort we do, we cannot guarantee we'll cross that ocean of life. So the prayer is very important. Self effort is important. Equally important is prayer. Then we described the state, the Acharya had described the state of a man of realization. And this man, the person who is on the path and has achieved that state of realization, because self-realization is God realization, has minimum dependence on society, enjoys life like a child or a madman, what looks like a madman to the outside world. And why the Acharya chose these two examples? Child, because child is innocent, lives in the moment, and a madman doesn't live for approval. He lives in his own world, connected with his God. The society may or may not approve of it. So both the child and the madman, the common thing is that they live in the present moment. And that's what it says, Yoga Niyojita Chitta Ramate Balan Mata Va Deva. Then The Acharya also described the importance of that only a prepared and a purified mind can seek the purpose of life. Not everybody will come to a Bhaja Govindam class or a Hanuman workshop, because that desire that you need to, the mind is full, is, if it is untrained, it has the sense organs pull it to the outward world, worldly objects. So unless we do some preparatory purificatory rites, we will not even be able to ask these questions. So understand, not only do we need preparation and purification to seek the purpose of life, but also understand that the world is an illusion, that it is a projection of our mind, of our, so we need to do several purification is required. Because the world basically is a projection of the mind. When the mind ends or is dissolved, the world also dissolved. And the example is, into us in a common world, is deep sleep. When we are going to deep sleep, there is no mind, and hence there is no world. So it says here, Kastva koham kuta ayata kame janani kome tata iti paribhavaya sarmas samsaram Vishwam Tvakta Swapna Vicharam. So even to ask, who am I? Who are my parents? Who are these people? Why was I born? What is my purpose? When will I die? How will I die? What will happen to me after death? These questions, not everybody has the capacity to ask. And then after asking, seeking satsang and understanding that, oh my God, this world is like a spider. It is a projection from itself and goes back to itself. Then the Acharya talked about an immature seeker or a person with a strong ego focuses on the differences. I am different from the world and other people, and I am different from God. That is the aham akar, ahankar. So the immature seeker or a person, with a strong ego focuses on the differences. And we talked about the Namaste. It is not just a mechanical greeting. It is a challenge to see Tvai mai cha anyatraiko Vishnu vyartham kupyasi mahasa hishnu. That every time you do Namaskar, remind yourself, force yourself, challenge yourself that it is the same Vishnu Tattva, that same supreme energy that is expressing through me in a different mind-body intellect complex, and through other people, same energy expressing through different mind, body, intellect complex. Then it says that, then the Acharya said, don't waste your time making and breaking relationships based on likes and dislikes. Oh, my family, my friends, I will like them. My enemies, they are challenging me, I'll dislike them. He says, don't waste your time doing that, because cultivate a vision of oneness. Satro mitre putre bandho ma kuru yatnam vigraha sandho. He says, these relationships are impermanent. They are here to teach you something. They are here to help you transcend them. Don't treat some lot of relationships as good and other relationships as bad. It's a waste of time. Cultivate oneness. How? They Tvai Maicha Annatra Vishnu. That Govinda Tattva is expressing itself through all different beings and objects, only through, so challenge yourself to do that. Now, today we will start from verse 26, but before that, I will request Samta to chant verses 21 to 25. Thank you, Samta, for braving it, and I know you'll do a great job.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Ayam Saraswatye Namaha. Punarapi Jananam Punarapi Maranam Punarapi Janani Jathare Shayanam Ih Sansare Bahu Dustare Kripya Pare Pahi Murare Rathya Pata Virchit Kantha Punya Vivarjit Pantha Yogi Yoga Niyojit Chitto Ramate Balun Matva Deva Kastva Koham Kuta Ayata Kame Janani Kome Tata Iti Paribhavya Sarvam Saram Vishwam Tyaktva Swapna Vicharam तव ये मयि चान्यत्रेको विष्णु व्यर्थं कृप्यसि महि सहिष्णु भवसंचित् सर्वत्र त्वं वाञ्छस्य चिरवतिति विष्णुत्वम् शत्रुमित्रे पुत्रे बन्धु मा कुरु यत्रं विग्रे सन्धो सर्वस्मिन्नपि पश्चात्मानं सर्वत्र सृज भेद ज्ञानम्.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, Samta. So now we will today start with verse 26. Let me open my book and see where we are. Kama krodham lobham moham tvaktamanam pasyati soham atma jnana vihina mudha ste pachanti naraka niguda bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudha mate. Let's break up the words. Kama, desire. Krodha, anger. Lobha, greed. Moha, delusion. Tvattva, having left. Atmanam, the self. Pashyati, see, the seeker. Sa, aham, he am I. Atma jnana vihina, those who have no self-knowledge. Mudha, the fools. Te, they. Pachyante, are tortured. Naraka nigudha, in hell as captives. Bhaja, see Govinda. So the English translation is, leaving desire, anger, greed, and delusion, the seeker sees in the self, he am I. They are fools who have no self-knowledge, and they consequently are captives in hell, are tortured. Seek Govinda, seek Govinda. So basically we discussed this yesterday. We'll just go over a revision of it. Wherever there is a vision of difference, I am different from the world, I am different from all the people, I am different from God, there is fear, anger, greed, pride, envy, and jealousy. And the Acharya says that Atma Jnana Vihina, if you don't know your soul, your true identity, then Mudha, you ignorant fool, you will be held captive. Niguda is captive in Naraka. We think it's hell, but na Arka. Arka is light, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, truth. Narka, meaning you will have none of that, and hence you will suffer. There is no world, there is no Papa Punya, nothing. But if you don't have the knowledge, it feels like that. You will be suffering in your own nightmare and unable to break free from that nightmare, because you don't have that. When you get up, you realize, that was just a dream. That was Swapna Vichara. So make it an effort. And where does this effort comes? Of course, the knowledge is there, but knowledge by itself will not give us feeling of unity consciousness with everybody. So from now on, at least practice this. When you do namaskar, don't make it a mechanical act. Do this. My soul is the same as the other person that I'm looking. I will have to accept that it's the same soul, that is the same consciousness which is expressing itself through me and other people. So understand that each individual Atma is an expression of the ultimate reality or consciousness, expressing itself through different BMI, body, mind, intellect. And so an example would be, if a wave in the ocean just looks at its own form, then it starts comparing itself with other form. I'm a big wave, that is a small wave. I'm a beautiful wave, that is a very muddy wave. I am a tsunami, that is just a gurgling wave. But if the wave thinks that I am water, then all the waves, you will realize, big or small, Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean, doesn't matter. It is all ultimately water. So we'll have to look at all of this and say that everything is that one energy is expressing itself through all the bodies. And we talked about how that power, that consciousness, through its power, which is called Maya, one becomes many. And yoga is the return process when many becomes one. Yoga is, root word is yug, join. The many becomes one again. So that is verse 26. Let's go to verse 27 now. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram Dheyam Shripati Rupamajashram Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam Deyam Dina Janaya Chavittam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Let's break up the words. Geyam is to be chanted, sung. Gita, Bhagavad Gita. Nama Sahasram, Sahasranamam. Dheyam is to be meditated upon. Shripati Rupa, the form of the Lord of Lakshmi. Ajastra, always. Neyam, the mind, is to be led. Sajjana Sange, in the association, company of the good. Chittam, the mind. Deyam is to be distributed. Dina Dina Janayacha, to the needy. Vittam, wealth. Bhaja, seek. Govindam. The English translation is, the Bhagavad Gita and Sahasranama are to be chanted. Always the form of the Lord of Lakshmi is to be meditated upon. The mind is to be led towards the company of the good. Wealth is to be distributed to or shared with society. Seek Govinda, seek Govinda. So, this is the advice Acharya has given before. It's a repeating advice to intensify sadhana at all levels. So I will remind you, the first 12 verses were actually chanted by on the spot spontaneously by Adi Shankaracharya, but the rest all were added later on by his, I think 4 verses each by his disciples. So here again, there's a repeating the advice to intensify sadhana at all levels. What are the levels? At the intellectual level, at the mind level, and at the body level. So Gita reading is at the intellectual reading. Again, it is not a mechanical reading. We must read and understand the Gita. And then after you understand the concept of this Govinda Tattva, that Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi, then you must meditate. Remember, we talked about the same thing, chanting Gita, then Ganga, dip in the Ganga, and worshipping. Same concept is being repeated here again. Reading Gita for intellectual understanding, meditate upon the Lord. And why should you meditate upon the Lord? Because what you have understood, to bring it to a form, because we don't understand a concept, a principle that has no form, no name, no nothing. It's very difficult for most people. So your chosen deity, understanding that it is just your condition, that your deity or your God is not better than anybody's God. So understanding, closing your mind and focusing, because what we are training the mind here, we can only when you dissolve the mind will you be able to transcend the mind and merge with the Govinda Tattva. And the only way to dissolve the mind is to focus. Keep watching the mind ekatra, in with one single-minded focus. So you closing your eyes and doing dhyanam on that form, Rupa Majashram, they're talking here. Then purify the mind with satsang. Again and again they're saying at the body level, because your life is the sum total of the people in whose association you spend time. If you spend time with people who are like Jana Sangha, those who are interested in worldly things, then you will be pulled, influenced, and by osmosis become more worldly. If you spend time with Sat Sangha, people who are in search of and have experienced the Sat, the reality, then you will be influenced and pulled in that direction. So your purification, how to purify the mind, is through satsang. And there is a story actually, how the satsang and company of saints and sages is so powerful, even when we don't understand everything, just being in their presence. That's why I say it's such a seva to bring these saintly people to your homes or go to their ashrams, wherever they are, and just be in that environment, in that energy orbit. There's a story where one guy was, coming to an ashram and always listening to the lectures or whatever the kathas the saints and sages were giving, but he was not very intellectual, and in that lifetime he did not grow much in jnana. So when the time came for him to die, he was sick. His wife came and told the guru, said, what good is it? He wasted so much time in the ashram. Neither he earned any money. And, he's not a very jnani. Where will he go? He's certainly not going to Vaikuntha. So she was a little bit irritated. So the rishi, that sadhu told this man that, listen, when you die and Yamraj comes to take your soul, you will always be given a choice, because you have good karma and bad karma, to go to heaven first and then hell, or hell first and then heaven. You just tell Yamaraj, when he gives you that choice, say, I want to go to heaven first. And the man wanted to understand. He didn't have much time. The guru said, don't worry, you just do what I'm telling you. And don't leave there. Don't leave till Vishnu comes, or whoever, So then he explained everything to this person who dies. And surely enough, Yamaraj comes and says, okay, you have done some good work, and you have done mostly foolish negative karma, but you're a choice. Where do you want to go first? He said, my guru said, I'll go to heaven first. I want to go heaven first. So he goes to the heaven. And the guru had also told him, as soon as you go to the heaven, go and sit near all the saints and sages. Don't go to all these gods and other people. Find the saints and sages and go sit with them. So there, as usual, what do saints and sages do? Satsang. They're constantly talking about Vishnu, about Govinda, and this fellow was listening and listening and listening. And then Yamaraj come and said, okay, your time is up. Now let's go to hell. He said, no, I'm listening to God's katha. I'm not going. No matter how much people, Yamaraj said, he didn't go, and they can't have any violence in Swarga. So Yamaraj goes to Lord Narayan, Govinda, and says, this fellow, I gave him a choice. He came here and now he doesn't want to go to hell. What do I do? So Lord, come, you please come and explain. He says, I want to see Lord, and then I'll go. When the Lord comes, he says, look, your time is up. You need to go. I mean, you agreed to this. He said, but Lord, all this while these saints are sages showing that when you have a darshan of Lord Vishnu, there is no more hell. So how can I go to hell? That means your vision is not important. So just by being in the presence of people, how much your life can change. It's just a story, but it tells people that this is how you will learn good things. So, and then it talks about at the body level, if you are, because not everybody is a sannyasi and a guru and a sage and saint. Most of us live in the world, and with worldly transactions, we earn money and we create wealth and interact with the world. But here they're saying, the Acharya is saying that whatever you gain by interacting and engaging with the world, whether it is money, wealth, name, fame, knowledge, you must share it. You must give it, because this entire thing that you're getting, it's like prana. You breathe in, you've taken from society, your ancestors have given you. So many people are responsible for you being who you are and earning money and knowledge. Then breathing out is you giving back to society. This is very important, because in our Sanatan Dharma, it is called that Tyagena Amrutatva. When you sacrifice the personal for the collective, that is the only way to get Amrutatva, immortality. And this brings to focus, I really want to focus on this concept today, that in the Bhagavad Gita, everywhere, all the Vedas, all the Upanishads, they say that the most important thing you can do for self-realization and God realization is the yajna bhava, when you do it with yajna. And what is yajna? You think it's a fire ritual, but it is broken up into yat gyan, that knowledge, that what you want to know, the self-realization, the God realization will come when the individual is called Veshti, and the collective is called Sameshti. So when you are able to, whatever you give to the Sameshti collective is what you are going to enjoy. The more you give, the more, because it comes back. Whatever you put out into the world comes back to you. So if you understand the process of yajna, you will realize that everything in life is a yajna. And what happens normally when there is no rain not everybody can do yajna, but should be doing, is what the Acharya is saying. Whenever there is no rain in a country, the king, there are many stories in the Puranas, will do a yajna. What does it involve? A yajamana, a person who will then get a fire ritual and put the best into the yajna, the best grains, the best clothes, the best food, and donate the best to everybody. Like the Katha Upanishad story, Nachiketa said, I am your best. If you're doing a yajna to go to Swarga, you must first decide who you are going to give to me. You can't give leftover, horrible, no good things that are useless to you. That is not called tyaga and yajna, to give, to sacrifice. So you must, and then what happens? The devas come and you get what you want. Now let's break up and understand this concept. Yajamana is, everybody is a yajamana. You are the only person that exists in your world. Everybody else is a reflection of you. Why do you need a fire? What are the two qualities fire does? Fire purifies and takes everything up. Whatever you offer to the fire, it goes up. And fire is not literal fire that you see. This is a symbolic fire. There are three kinds of fire. One is Kamagni, Jataragni, Chitagni. Kamagni is all your desires. If you know to put it, to surrender to the God, it gets purified. Jataragni, whatever you are eating, if you give it, if you, first of all, make a prasad out of it. Give it to that supreme consciousness, it becomes prasad. Food becomes prasad when you give it to the Lord. And then Chitagni, all the knowledge, information, if you serve the world with that knowledge, just taking knowledge and going to say, I will never share with anybody, I alone will go to heaven, then that is not a yajna. So fire is important. Then we give the best, not the worst. And in this concept, many people have this thought that, Ambani has so much money, he can do a yajna, or rich people can do yajna. We don't have enough. And the Acharya says, or the Vedanta says, that everybody can do a yajna at your level, at the family level. Each person, not only the parents will sacrifice for the children have to sacrifice for the parents also. At the company level, at not only the CEO has to look after the interest of the employees must also look after the interest of the company and the CEO. Same as the community level, same at the country level, and same at the global level. Every citizen, we can't say that we don't have any power. Like JFK said, it's not what the country can do for you. What can you do for the country? And everybody is capable of doing something. And the best, not little bit. And then when you do that, the devatas come. Devatas are these benevolent energies. The divya, the root word is divya, which is knowledge. You will understand that which is to be known will be known. Yat gya, yagya. So this, he's saying that whatever you gain by studying the Bhagavad Gita, by doing Kriya Yoga or meditation, by earning things from the world with any wealth that you earn, if you can give it away and walk away from it, you will get immortality. Because why? You are not, the minute you hold on to yourself is this difference. Twaimai. I'm different from the world. I'm different from God. You realize it is your own world. You are like the king. Everybody is your praja. Who will you hold back from? So that's what they're saying here, that donate whatever you get from the society, because with the society's help only you've got it. Give it back, and then the rain will come. Rain is whatever, first without food there is no beings. For the food we need water. For the water we have to give sacrifice to the fire, that universal yajna fire. And then what goes to the cloud rains back, and everybody, the collective, enjoys, not just you. So if everybody gives the best to a family, the family will be the best. If everybody gives to the company the best, the company will be the best. If everybody gives the best to the country will be the best. So that's what it's the meaning of this verse. Now let us go to verse 28. Okay. Sukhata kriyate rama bhoga paschadanta sarire roga yadapi na loke maranam sharanam tadapi na munchati papacharam bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate. Let's break up the words. Sukhata, for the sake of happiness, kriyate is done, one indulges in, Rama Bhoga, carnal pleasures, paschant, later, hanta, alas, sarire, in the body, roga, disease comes, yadapi, even though, loke, in the world, maranam, death, sharanam, is the ultimate end, Tadapi, even then, na, he does not. Muchati, leaves. Papa acharanam, sinful behavior. Bhaja si Govinda. The English translation is, very readily one indulges in carnal pleasures. Later on, alas, come diseases of the body. Even though in the world the ultimate end, sharanam, is death, even then man leaves not his sinful behavior. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. So here it's a reminder again of the limitations of sensual pleasure. Sensual pleasure is not just the skin. The pleasures that we enjoy through our different senses, what we like to see, what we like to smell, what we like to hear, what we like to taste, what we like to feel in the body level. So short-term gain and long-term pain is what this the Acharya is reminding us. And there are three. See, there is a bhakta, that is this person. Every person is a bhakta, can be a yogi or a bhogi. When you are living in your bottom three chakras, money, sex, and power, ease, joy, and glory, then you are a bhogi. When you're living in your top three chakras, Sat, Chit, Ananda, you're a yogi. So we have to balance that yoga bhoga. But when we get stuck, anywhere energy is stuck, it creates disease, codependencies, and bondage. So if you get too much stuck in the lower chakras, which is enjoyment in the worldly enjoyment, then comes the rogi. So yogi, bhogi, nothing wrong with yogi, nothing wrong with bhogi. We had discussed in one of the other verses where it doesn't matter whether you enjoy with people, without people, worldly things or spiritual things. If your mind is on constantly on that Rama Tattva, Rama inside and Rama outside, then there is no problem. But when we get stuck, this craving, we don't want to, there is the breath comes in and breath goes out and perfectly going on. But if you hold on to the breath and never let go, you will die. So same thing, the roga will happen. And ultimate truth, which they are hammering into us again and again and again, is that the body, which is made out of 5 elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, is ultimately going to die. That is the end. That is the dharma of the body, is to die. Anything, not just body, anything that is made out of the 5 elements, whether it is a body or all the objects and people in the world, will ultimately die. But we refuse to understand that. Either we don't know it, which is silly, or knowing it, we ignore it and we behave as if we won't die. In fact, there is a story of Yudhishthira when they were in the Vanvas, and one yaksha wanted to test him and his brothers, and they were thirsty, and he sent one by one his brothers to fetch the water. And the yaksha, this celestial being, said, you can only drink, this is my lake, you can only drink the water if you answer my questions. And those brothers, egoic as they were, say, who are you? We are the Pandavas. And they drank and they all died. Then ultimately Yudhishthira goes looking for them and faces this yaksha, and the yaksha says, your brothers have died because they refused to listen to me, but if you answer my questions, you will get the water. So he asked many questions to Yudhishthira, but the one that I want to bring to your attention today is that he asked, what is truly amazing in this world? The yaksha asked Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira replied, though humans are mortal, everybody goes about their life as if they are going to be here forever. So when we say that, balastavat krida sakta, tarunastavat taruni shakta, vriddhastavat chinta sakta, and we also say that dinya minyu pratam saya sishira vasanto. So seasons are coming, day is becoming night, winter is becoming spring, but we make no time for spirituality or connecting with that Govind Tattva, because we think we have forever. When we retire, when we can't do anything, that's when we are going to do spirituality. So they are reminding here that when you are enjoying, understand it is not limitless. And if you have not connected with that Govinda Tattva, you will ultimately, your destiny, like everybody else's, for each body and mind, is death. And it is amazing that we go about as if we have all the time in the world. So yeah, this is what is verse 28. Now let's go on to verse 29. Artham anartham bhavaya nityam nasti tata sukhalesha satyam पुत्रदपि जनभाजं भीतिः सर्वत्रैष विहितरीति भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते. Let's look at the break up the words and phrases. Artha, wealth. Anartha is calamitous. Bhavaya, thus reflect. Nityam, constantly. Na asti, there is not. Tata, from it. Sukhalesha, even a little happiness. Satya, truth. Putrada api, even from his own son. Dhana bhajam, to the rich. Bhiti, there is fear. Sarvatra, everywhere. Esha, this. Vihita is the ordained. Riti, the way. Bhaja, seek, Govinda. So the English translation is, wealth is calamitous. Thus reflect constantly. The truth is that there is no happiness at all to be got from it. To the rich, there is fear, even from one's own son. This is the way with wealth everywhere. Seek Govinda, seek Govinda. So what the Acharya wants to tell us, that we all think that no matter, we all know that, wealth is not the ultimate, won't give us ultimate happiness, but it is very comfortable and makes life very good. And we find it very difficult to detach from wealth. And the Acharya is reminding us, don't think that wealth comes without its negative aspect. Wealth is good, but at some point it becomes calamitous, because without the right knowledge, the right jnana of the dharma, artha, kama, moksha, artha is only 1/4. If you don't have, if it is not informed by dharma and it is not making you go towards moksha, it becomes calamitous. It brings calamity. Why? Because when you are creating money and you're not able to create a lot of money, there is anger. Or when you have made a lot of money and then you think you're invincible, you can never fail, and you make a deal or somebody steals something from you, you get so angry. And you know what happens? That ladder of fall, anger will lead to what? Loss of memory. Loss of memory will lead to loss of discrimination. Loss of discrimination will lead to your destruction. So, and on the other hand, if you're so lucky that, every time you make more money and more money and more money, you're successful deal after deal, there is no end to your success. What happens? Rakta bija. Dhumra lochana. You get more and more pulled into the illusory world, the mirage of the world, and you get entangled. You fall into the rabbit hole. There is no end. Every time you think now something bigger, because otherwise, why won't people at the beginning, when you have no money, we said, when I have 1 million, I'll be happy. 1 million, you see everybody has 100 million. Now I want to make 100 million. You make 100 million, then you see everybody has billion. Even billionaires, look at, he has $1 trillion. So there is no end to it, that rakta bija. So money comes with its own problem. Yes, it is necessary. Yes, it gives comfort. But if you don't remind yourself of this, then artham anartham bhavaya nityam nastita sukhalesha satyam. So creating wealth is half the problem. Maintaining and stewarding wealth is much worse. And that is why you look at these filthy rich families. Most of the family battles happen in the filthy rich. When the person who's in charge dies, this trust fund wars. And also you're so worried that, you create so much wealth that the children become useless. And they commit suicide because they have nothing to look forward to, because you have taken away the purpose from them, the fire in the belly. So he's saying, don't think that money doesn't come without its own problem. And understand, money is here to serve you. You are not here to serve money. So this is the concept that, if you look at this, our Devis, lot of the Westerners and modern mind says, oh, in Hinduism, women serve men because you see Lakshmi is pressing Vishnu's feet. You forget that Lakshmi is not there as a woman. Lakshmi is there representing, symbolizing the energy of money. And money should serve us. We should never serve money, because you will never see Saraswati or Parvati pressing any man's God's feet. So this is that if the money is working to make our life and everybody in our vicinity and orbit better, our families, our communities, our country, then that money is worth it. But if you are so afraid and you are serving money that, how to accumulate and hoard this money, then it will become calamitous. So understanding to put money in its proper perspective, the artha and kama, Kama is desire, artha is your life purpose, but mostly wealth and resources must be informed by dharma and must take you towards moksha. How will it take you towards moksha? Tyagena amrita bhava. So amrita tattva. Tyaga, you're making money so that everybody around you enjoys. You money just not made just for you and your family. So understanding that. Yeah, exactly that. So when you have greed, we when we get more money, we have greed. When we have any defeat or somebody steals our money, and imagine after all that money, you're afraid of your son in you when you're old, when you cannot think, you're worried that your children will make durupyog, bad use of that money. So how much stress you have, and always you think whoever comes to you, you're suspecting whether they are friend or foe, they're coming for my money or not. You can never trust anybody after you make a lot of money. So the Acharya is saying make money, but understand that it comes with its own load of problem. Now we'll go to verse 30. Yeah. Pranayamam pratyaharam nitya viveka vicharam japya sameta samadhi vidhanam kurvavadhanam mahadavadhanam bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate. Let's break up the phrases. Pranayam, the control of all activities of life's manifestations in you. Pratyaharam, the sense withdrawal from the respective sense objects. Nitya, anitya, viveka, vicharam, the inquiry, reflection, consisting of discrimination between the permanent and the impermanent. Japya sameta samadhi vidhanam, along with japa and the practice of reaching the total inner silence, samadhi. Kuru, perform. Avadhanam, with care. Mahat avadhanam, with great care. Bhaja, seek Govinda. The English translation is, the control of all activities of life's manifestations in you, the sense withdrawal from their respective sense objects, the reflection consisting of discrimination between the permanent and the impermanent, along with japa and the practice of reaching the total inner silence, samadhi. These perform with care, with great care. Seek Govinda, seek Govinda. So here, what Acharya is trying to say is that all this 29 or 30 shlokas before this is what? Bhaja Govinda, move towards, seek Govinda and move towards it. And there are two processes. One is it's called Antaranga sadhana and Bahiranga sadhana. Antaranga sadhana is at the seat of meditation, inside, but before you sit for meditation, Bahiranga sadhana, outside. You must control your physical body and mind before you can actually go into your intellect and merge with that Govinda Tattva. So Bahiranga sadhana is like reading. When you read the book, it is your sense organs are going outward to read something, collect information. When you do any of the bhaja part of the 9 Navada Bhakti, they're all Bahiranga sadhana, outside world, to purify the body. But once you sit down in the seat of meditation, after you've purified your body and you've purified your mind, because these bhaja, 9 Navata Bhakti, is necessary to purify the body and the mind, then what you should do is breath regulation. Because remember, that is the Hanuman Tattva, Vayuputra. When Rama and Sita are separated, what is Rama? Your inner bliss, that supreme tattva, ananda, and the mind body is separated from it because it's got too stuck in the outworld mirage, golden deer, and got kidnapped by your ego. Who will bring them back? Your intellect, and Hanuman is your breath control, pranayam. Prana Shakti will finally bring these two together. So you sit down to do pranayam. You close all your organs that can be closed, eyes and mouth, and of course the ears and nose you can't, but that is called pranayam. You do, then you do pratyahar. Bring all your attention back within, not going out, but bringing inside. And then, because pranayam is not enough, you need to reflect while you do pranayam, while you bring your attention from the outside world inside, the nitya anitya viveka vicharam. That's where the jnana helps, because so many people do only, oh, I did 3 hours of meditation. Oh, I did 250 types of pranayam. That is not enough. If it is not informed by jnana, what is nitya, what is anitya? Nitya is permanent. Only that your Govinda Tattva, that consciousness is the only thing. I am is the only thing that's permanent, that will never leave you because it is you. Everything else is anitya. Everything in the world, the Ashta, Murti Prakriti, anything made out of the 5 elements and 3 moods, tamas, rajas, sattva, that combination of the gunas and the mahabhutas, the elements, everything that is made is immaterial. If you don't understand that, you will never get that joy. So pranayam is not enough. Need to reflect on the eternal and the ephemeral. And from the beginning, the Acharya has been saying the limitations of worldly knowledge, limitations of worldly existence, limitations of worldly love, limitations of worldly family, limitations of worldly wealth. Everything is limited. Understanding that, and yet engaging and entangling and being able to withdraw, not be Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu knew how to go into the world, did not know how to come back. Abhiman, ego. If the ego is not controlled, you can go into the world, you cannot make a very calm and blissful exit from that world. So then japa. You do pranayam, then you do pratyahara, bring your attention back from the outside world into the inside world. Why? This is also connected to the Hiranyaksha. You know, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were 2 brothers, Prahalad's father, and he had an uncle. When the earth was submerged and Brahma asked that it has to be brought up, so that Swayambhu, Manu and Satarupa, and we'll go into the details of this some other time, wanted to create the world. And when it was being brought up, when Varaha Avatara, the Lord took Varaha Avatara to bring it up, who attacked it? Hiranyaksha. Now Hiranyaksha he is noise. He is moving outward. Ranya is noise. Aksha, this perception that only runs outward into the world for movement and noise, agitation and clamor, just too much noise. Because noise is what? Thoughts. And mind is only a collection of thoughts. And as long as the Hiranyaksha is there, you will never know the Vedas, or that internal silence, or that inner bliss, Ananda. So the saying Pratyahara is to take care of that Hiranyaksha demon inside us, that tendency that wants to constantly be in the outside world. Go outside and fill your mind with noise, whether it is through food, through all the engage all the senses, sights, smells, eat, hear, touch, everything. That is the Hiranyaksha in us. And Hiranyakashipu is the ego. And that we'll talk about some other time. So you must do pranayam, that is breath control, which brings the body and mind complex together. Pratyahar, close all, turn inwards from your senses going outward. Your mind is pulled by your senses. Stop. Halt, turn it around, bring it towards your intellect. And the intellect will do what? Will do reflection on nitya, anitya. What is eternal, what is not. Because only when the intellect can convince the mind of the possibility of a higher joy, will the mind finally stop having an affair with all the senses. And then you do japa. Japa is a way to, is mantra japa, right? Mantra is, man is mind, tra is tool. And the true tool to control the mind is japa. And this japa has to be done at 3 stages. Nothing is easy. That's why he's saying do it very carefully. This is not 3 months or 3 years or 30 years, or maybe even 30 lifetimes it may take to reach that Govinda Tattva. But very gently, with patience. First loudly you do the japa, then under your breath, then silently. And there will come a point where the mind will drop and you realize I am. I'm not this or this or this. I am. That is the consciousness. That is the Govinda Tattva. It is not attached to anything. It just is the beingness, the presence. So it says here, Kuru Avadhanam, Maha Avadhanam, path of spirituality is slow, may take years or lifetimes. And it is a Surashya Dhara. the sword's edge. It's not easy. Anything worth having is not easy, because human beings are never happy with small things. We want the ultimate, immortal, infinite, everything. So then you have to walk the sword's edge. Little that Nakula Tattva, not too much craving, not too much aversion, landing in the middle and doing a tightrope walk as if you're walking on the sword's edge. This spiritual practice is not easy. People think it's easy. It's not. It's the most difficult thing. Then this is, to give you an example, you've heard a story of sage Vishwamitra. He had to do tapasya for 10,000 years. Now, what is 10,000 years? We think in this body we can stay in 10,000 years. No, many, many lifetimes it takes for him to become Vishwamitra, the sage that is a friend of the whole world. He was the one who received in his dhyana, in his meditation, the Gayatri Mantra. And he had to go through many tests. But the three main tests were, first, somebody threw a snake at him. He got angry. He again lost all the work he had done. He lost it. Again, he came back. He was able to overcome anger. Then he was about to reach a certain stage. Indra, who is always afraid of sadhus and human beings doing tapasya, Indra is what? The mind. Mind doesn't want the human beings to go. The only enemy the mind has is self-reflection. It gets very uncomfortable when we start doing practices to go towards the intellect. So then the apsaras were sent. That is lust. It broke his sadhana. He did another thousands of years of tapasya. Finally, he was able to reach another level of sadhana. Then finally, when he was about to get that, he wanted to be a Brahma Rishi, a seer who knows the Brahman, the reality, but he wanted it. The Brahma came and told him, you can only get it from Vashishta. He in the first place, he wanted this because Vashishta had the Kamadhanu and he wanted it from Vashishta. He didn't want it from Vashishta. And he was so angry. He said, this Vashishta will never leave me alone. I'm going to go and kill Vashishta. What was happening? The ego, Chanda Munda. That he was thinking Vashishta is different from him. Vashishta is our inner bliss. And Vishwamitra, Vashishta is Aham Brahmasmi, and Vishwamitra is what? Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. So when he went to Vashishta with a intention to kill him, he heard Vashishta and his wife Arundhati talking, and Arundhati saying, why don't you give him that pada, that position of Brahmarishi? He's been doing so much sadhana. And Vashishta said, yes, I'm waiting. He's coming. I will give it to him. That's when he realized, oh my God, that is why Vashishta is Brahmarishi and I'm still not a Brahmarishi. So he goes and falls at Vashishta's feet and Vashishta confers on him the Brahmarishi. So he had to overcome ego. First, he had to overcome anger. Then he had to overcome lust. Then he had to overcome ego. What are these? Anger is the Muladhara chakra. Lust is Swadhisthana chakra. Ego is Manipura chakra. Then only you earn the right to the, the passage, you earn the right of passage to go up to the higher chakras. So that's what this one is talking about. It takes a lot of effort, maybe more than one lifetime. But if you don't start somewhere, you will never start. Now we'll go to the last verse here. 31. गुरुचरणाम्बुज निर्भर भक्तः संसार चिरराद्भवमुक्तः सेन्द्रियमनसनियामा देवं द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृदयस्तं देवं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते. We'll break up the phrases here. Guru Charana Ambuja Nirbhaya Bhaktaha, great devotee of the lotus feet of the teacher, Sansarat, from the samsara, Achirat, soon, Bhava, Mukta, become liberated, Sendriya Manasa Niyamat, through the discipline of the sense organs and the mind. Evam, in this manner, Drakshasi, you will experience Nija Hridayastam, that dwells in one's own heart. Devam, the Lord, Bhaja, seek, Govindam. O devotee of the lotus feet of the teacher, may you become liberated soon from the samsara through the discipline of the sense organs and the mind. You will come to experience, behold, the Lord that dwells in your own heart. Seek Govinda, seek Govinda. So in the beginning of the Bhaja Govindam session 1, I told you that the end, the Acharya has promised that this is the journey, that you are thinking 3 stages we see. God in an idol outside. Then we see God in the Ashtamurti Puja. Everybody and everything is God. And finally, you will come inside and say, God is only here. When you say, I am, where do you point? Not at your head, at your heart. I am. This is where the God is, in your heart. And you will ultimately get, you can't get there first. You have to first do the puja, the Rupam Majashram, Shripati, when you're looking at your own God. It can be Vishnu, it can be anybody. Then you do the Ashtamurti Puja first, Ishtadeva Puja, your own God, then Ashtamurti Puja. The whole world is made up of 8 elements, 5 Mahabhutas and 3 Gunas. Combination and permutation of that is the entire Jagat, the world. You have to do puja for that. We talked about 5 Yagyas, Pancha Mahayagyas. What is that? First is Rishi Yagya. This knowledge, if this knowledge is not there, we will stay at the animal level, instinctually living. We become intentional only because of the Rishis. So Rishi Yagya. Then Devata Yagya. That knowledge that helps us go from the Pashu to Manushya to Daiva. Then Pitra Yagya. You are where you are because of the sacrifices of your ancestors, not just your biological ancestors, your land ancestors, your religious ancestors, your cultural ancestors. You must make sure that you do a service to that. Then Manushya Yagya. All human beings, let them not drop into the Pashu level. Let them all try to help everybody rise to the Daivi level. And then Bhuta Yagya. After that, everything in the Jagat, whether it is mineral world, plant world, animal world, sky, ocean, whatever, you must serve all of that because that is the reflection of that energy in everything. So here, this is a blessing verse, and I'll give you a story, what a guru's blessing can do to a person. And guru is not only, we always come and get stuck here, oh Krishna, we need only Krishna as the guru, or Swami Chinmananda, whoever, your first. Your mother is your first guru, father is your second guru, your school, worldly knowledge, you go to school, college, everything, they are your gurus. And then you will get a spiritual guru, maybe in this time or another lifetime. But you must understand that when you get the blessings, you have served them enough for them to give you the blessing. I will give you a story of Adi Shankaracharya in his own ashrama. He had a lot of people he was teaching. And there was one guy who was very intellectually weak, didn't really understand the Vedas and Upanishads and, very difficult and complex concepts. But he just wanted to serve his guru, Adi Shankaracharya, cook for him, clean his clothes, clean his kutira, his heart and everything. So one day, but he attended the classes, or whatever it was, satsang, because he had earned that right to be in the presence of Adi Shankaracharya. One day, the guru, Adi Shankaracharya, was about to start the class and he did not see Totaka. And he said, where is Totaka? Where is Totaka? Then he noticed that the other students were making fun of Totaka. They were smiling and said, why should we wait for him? I mean, really, Totaka, he doesn't understand anything. Why should the class be delayed? And they were making fun of his ignorance or his lack of understanding. And Adi Shankaracharya did not like that. So he waited. He said, no, we will wait for Totaka to come. As soon as Totaka came, and he, sorry, Guru, I was just finishing off the cooking and all. So Adi Shankara said, today's class, you will start. And Totaka was like astounded. He said, Guru, me, I don't know anything. What will I take in this class? He said, you just open your mouth and say whatever comes out. And the Guru had transmitted that knowledge and he composed and spontaneously chanted the Totaka Ashtakam. Beautiful, one of my favorite Ashtakams, where he is praising the Guru, that you alone. This is the power of the Guru because, and what did he do? He served his Guru to the best of his ability. But, when we try to outdo the Gurus, one little bit more, want to be better than the Guru, you will eventually. That is the nature of humanity. Love and knowledge flows down. You will not go upwards. The, younger generation will always know more than the older generation, but not respecting the older generation, not taking care of them, not being thankful that Pitru Yagya and Rishi Yagya, if you don't do, you will not have access to this knowledge. So only when you value something, you will get it. And how do you value something? Giving the time and money. In those days, you could serve a guru. Today, can you serve a guru? Nobody, you can't go to anybody's house and take care of them. So being able to, because if you don't want to come somewhere, attend something, set aside time, committed time, which will not be cancelled as soon as the latest celebrity is in town or the latest politician is in town, your spiritual commitments are always thrown out. That is the time commitment. And the money. When we don't want to put money towards spiritual knowledge, gaining spiritual knowledge, what does it mean? The gurus don't care. The Vedas don't care. The rishis don't care. You are the loser, because why would you not pay money? Because you think it is not of value. You will never go to somebody's house and if they say, just live on my food, my dole, would you like that? No. You live in my house forever and ever, would you like that? No. Your ahankara gets upset. But when it comes to spiritual knowledge, why do we bargain and think, is this worth it? Is it worth it? Because we don't have something in our hand. We don't realize it's not what we get, it's who we become because of this knowledge. A lot of people say that, oh, so if you do all this chanting, what will you get? What will you get? Will you get money? Will you get name and fame? Yes, you will, but you're not doing it for that. So that's what it says, that only when you value something, you get it. And time and whatever you value, if you want worldly things, if you want knowledge, if you want to travel for love, you will have to set aside dedicated time and you'll have to spend. Even love, that you talk about love, how much you have to spend to get that love. Starting from the school, the, this, what is it? The drama they do here, that homecoming queen, king, and prom and whatnot. No love is cheap here. You will never get somebody who loves you by not spending anything on them. You will not get a single, can you walk into Stanford and get the knowledge without paying? No. Can you go to any store and buy something without paying? No. But we want the highest knowledge without paying anything or dedicating any time for it. That's what it's saying here. O devotee of the lotus feet of the teacher, may you become liberated soon from the samsara through the discipline of the sense organs and the mind. You will come to experience, behold the Lord that dwells in your heart. And that is from the very beginning, he's saying, don't go by mechanically rattoing memorizing that worldly knowledge. Spend time in the self-realization and God realization. And so many times he's given all this, read the Gita, go, but take a drop of the Ganges, meaning Ganges water, meaning practice it. Rupa Majastram, visualize and meditate on the form of your Ishta Devata. And then satsang, all these things, if you don't do this, you will never know that the God that you're looking outside desperately is sitting in your heart here. So that is, then we will do the, just a moment. Verse 32, Mudha Kaschana Vaikarano Dukrin Karana Dhyana Adhurina. It's a very long phrase. It's not part of the typical 31 phrases, but verses. Ishrimach Shankara Bhagavan Sishya Bodhi Asischodhita Karana. Anyway, thus a grammarian who was lost in rules was cleansed of his narrow vision and shown the light by Adi Shankaracharya's teaching. Therefore, O ignorant one, at least now understand the purport of life and cross life's ocean with the help of worshipping, with the help that you get by worshipping Govinda and reciting his sacred names with every breath that you take. And verse 33 says, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Nama Smaranad, Anya Upaya Nahi Pashyamo Bhavatarane. Other than chanting the name of the Lord, there is no other way to cross the ocean of life. So seek Govinda, O one whose intellect is blinded by ignorance. Again, please do not interpret this literally, that only by japa you can get. Understand, japa is only one part of the Navada Bhakti, and I will remind you what the Navada Bhakti is. It is symbolically meaning keep that, the knowledge, the practice of that Govinda Tattva constantly, Rama inside and Rama outside. Because puja, japa, pilgrimages, charity, all of that will only purify the mind, but leave the ego untouched and undestroyed. It is the bhaja part is to purify the mind. After that, nitya, viveka vicharam, the jnana you cannot get rid of. So don't take this literally, just nama smaranad is the only thing that will get me Govinda Tattva. No, that is only part of it. It is symbolically, you have to understand it. Jnana is the only thing that threatens the ego. And if you want to find that Govinda, that ultimate power inside your heart, you will first do the Navada Bhakti to purify your mind, which will then be trained to receive and turn inward, will disengage with its affair with the sense organs and start coming towards the intellect, and that intellect will finally, mind and intellect we will use mind and intellect to come inside, drop it, and become that Govinda. And this is the story, this is the symbolism behind Ahalya's story. And people get so caught up in this feminism. Why can't a woman's right to have an affair with anybody? And it cheapens. These rishis are seers, Brahma rishis, seers of the ultimate reality. You think they will have this cheap drama? Ahalya means plow. Ahalya, an unplowed mind, an untrained mind. First, Ahalya was married to who? Gautama. Go again, the sense tama, uttama, the one who has complete control over the sense organs. When the mind is married to that, when we are born, the mind and our intellect and this thing is together. And then we come into the world. Ahalya started having affairs with Indra. What is Indra? Indriyas, sense organs. Using the eyes, nose, mouth, this to get entangled in the outside world. And the Gautama, our inner intellects, cursed it, saying that it will take you 1,000 years, you will be a stone. What is a stone? You have no viveka. You have no that intellect. You will be like a mineral world with no choice. Because you want to engage with the outside world, go ahead, go. Live in the outside world and realize the bondage. That is the stone. Nothing can be more bonding than a stone. It's worse than even animals and plants. And when will you become free? When Rama comes to you, his feet. What is Rama? It's not the person. That inner bliss. It takes you 1,000 years to understand this. Punarabi jananam, punarabi maranam. I cannot. I want freedom. Mumukshatva. Then the Rama Tattva will come and free you. So this is what it is saying. Now, so Navada Bhakti. Bhaja Govindam. Govindam is our ultimate goal. Go is the Indriyas, sense organs. Vindam is complete control over them, because only when we have control over the sense organs can we have control over the mind. When you have control over the mind, we will access the intellect, and ultimately the intellect will help us drop the mind like a pole vaulter and become it. I am. Aham Brahmasmi. So the Navada Bhakti is first is Shravanam. Constantly listening, not mechanically, with an intention to understand. But the more you listen, the more you get into it. And in the Puranas, they've given examples. Stories are built around these things. The best example, embodiment of Shravanam is King Parikshit. He was the son of Uttara and Abhimanyu. When in the Mahabharata, Ashwathama killed all the Upapandavas, all the Draupadi's children. This is the only one who was alive. And he was also let go of the Brahmastra to kill Parikshit, who was then in Uttara's tummy, in womb. And Krishna saved him. So when he went through that pain inside, Punaravi Jananam, Punaravi Manaram, he could see in the womb that a divine force is coming to save me. And he got out of his the womb wanting only to find that Krishna, that who is it that tried to save me. So Parikshit is that thing that is pointing to the that force that saved me. So Shravanam, he was cursed because he threw again, he was a wonderful king. He had gone to the forest. He was trying to, what is it called? He was thirsty after a hunt, and he went to an ashram and saw this sage, Rishi, I think Shamik or somebody. He was in deep meditation. He asked for water. The Rishi, of course, was in dhyanam, completely in a different dimension. He didn't listen. This man got angry and he threw a dead snake at the Rishi. Rishi's son saw it, got mad, and cursed him that within 7 days you will die from snake bite. Now understand, the Rishis never use a single thing just like that. Every example is chosen brilliantly. 7 days, 7 chakras. Snake, Kundalini. So you will die, we will all die. And when we die, our jiva goes from the Muladhara right through the Sahasrara and leaves, or at least wants to. It can leave from the bottom also, from Muladhara. That's why we wait for Uttarayan and train our mind so that the jiva leaves from the Sahasrara. If it leaves from some other chakra, you will go to a different dimension. So, and he had a choice. 7 days, what do you want to do? Most of us will do what? Call our friends, have a party, enjoy all the things that we wanted to do. He said, no, I will only listen to Bhagwan Charcha, that Govinda Charcha. And in 7 days, he was able to cross all the 7 chakras and through, home free. So he is given as an example of This is called Shravanam, listening. Kirtanam, talking about, not just chanting, talking about that Govinda Tattva. The example is sage Sukadev. He is the son of Vedvyasa. And this Parikshit heard from Sukadeva. He is the one, the entire Bhagavad Purana is through his exposition. So not just once or twice talking about Hare Krishna, Rama, 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 Rama. Continuously, that's all. If you want to talk, learn, talk about that Govind Tattva. The example is sage Sukadeva. Then Smaranam, thinking of that Lord all the time. The example given is Prahalad. No matter what was happening, the drama in the outside world, your father is bent on killing you, and all you can do is Narayana, 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 Narayana. That's it. Things will happen in the outside world, but you just think of Lord and see who can touch you. That is Prahalad, is Smaranam. Then come Padasevanam. Worshipping the feet. Who? Goddess Lakshmi. Wealth itself, the embodiment of abundance, is worshipping who? Govinda, Narayana. So our wealth also should worship the Govinda Tattva inside, not the world outside. So the example giving for Pada Sevanam is Goddess Lakshmi. Then Archanam. This is worshipping through puja and fire offerings. Very formal worship. The example given is Emperor Prithu. And I can't go into all these stories because it'll take too much time. He's a personification of temple worship. He was the most rich king and powerful king of his time, and offered all his royal possessions with every day with 16 upacharas, 16 types of worship, service to his Ishta Devata. So if you have a lot of things, money and things and wealth and abundance, use it in the worship of the Lord. That stone statue will not eat anything or wear anything. But you are doing what? Sacrifice. I have all this, it's not mine. Because once you offer it to the God, it's not you. It's become prasad, and you have to distribute prasad. If you keep prasad to yourself, it is not yajna bhava, tyaga bhava. So when you dedicate it to the Lord, means it has to be, prasad has to be distributed to everybody. So the example of Archanam, official worship, rituals, puja, yajna, homa, is Emperor Prithu. Then Vandanam. Vandanam is prayer and prostrations with devotion. When you are glorifying it, but wherever you see this, think of this God, or you think there is a hint, a whiff of this God, you fall at your feet and you touch every part of it. The Ashtanga, you call, what is it called? Namaskara. All parts, 8 parts of your body should touch the ground. Nothing should be above the ground, because that's a sign of ego. And this is what the example given is, that of Akrura. Akrura was, what is it called? Krishna's uncle. And when Kamsa finally realized that Krishna is in Nandapur, Nandapura, and invited him because he wanted to kill Krishna and Balram. And he had this Chanura and other demons, So he sent Akrura, and Akrura knew that what he's going, but he has to follow. But as soon as he entered Nandapura, where Krishna lives, he saw on the mud the footprints of the cows and Krishna. He could tell. I mean, imagine how tuned he must be to Lord Krishna, that he saw that and totally became bhavuk, very emotional, fell on the ground, rolled, writhing, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. I mean, he's touching Krishna's feet. This is called Vandanam. So he jumped out of the chariot, rolled on the dust, and kissed the soil of Vrindavan upon seeing Krishna's footprints. Then comes Dasyam, service. Who is the example? Hanuman. Hanumanji is the embodiment of being a servant of the Lord. Nothing he did for himself. Everything was serving the Lord. Lord, how can I be of service to you? That quality you have to bring. So when we say dasyam, it's not just like, naam ke vaste, just for the heck of it, we do something and the rest all make all the money and put it in our treasury. So thus everything, your body, mind, intellect is dedicated to the God. Then Sakyam, or a friendship. Who's the embodiment and example given? Arjuna. How he talks to Krishna. In the end, when the Vishwarupa, he said, oh my God, you are the God, and I've been treating you like a friend. But when you talk to the God as a friend, he got all his answers. He had no problem. Only as a friend he asked, and the answers came as a friend. So developing that friendship with God, where you sit and ask, Lord, What do I do now? And he will answer just as a friend. Then comes Atma Nivedanam, surrendering the self. Nothing remains. I am not here, you are not there. Complete annihilation of this ego, this body, this mind, and this intellect. Who is the example? King Bali. You know, when that Vamana avatar Krishna Narayana comes, and Shukracharya, Bali is the emperor, king of Asuras. And Shukracharya knew this is no ordinary boy. And he was telling Bali that don't do it, don't do it. This is Vishnu coming to take away everything you have. And Bali said, no, what better? The Lord is coming to ask me. Who gets this opportunity? We all go to the Lord to ask. And here Lord is asking me. He put his he said, whatever you want. And in the Vamana Avatara, 1 foot he took all of the Patala. 2nd foot he took all of the Bhuloka. Then he said, what about the 3rd feet? And he offered his head. That is called Atma Nivedanam. Ahankar, you just put. Every time you put your head down or your head is chopped, means your Ahankara is neutralized and gone. So this is Atma Nivedanam. So the Navada Bhakti is what? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, and Atma Nivedanam.
Sorry, could you just explain Padasevanam again?
Padasevanam is Goddess
Yeah,
Lakshmi. So everything you have must be served, must be used for the service of the God. Because Lakshmi is ultimately the world. All the things that you seek in the outside world is Lakshmi, and she herself is serving the Lord. So you, whatever you get from Lakshmi, you put it in the use of the Lord. So 6 important impediments to bhakti. And because understand that Bhaja Govindam is, the beautiful thing about Bhaja Govindam is what? The balance between Bhakti Yoga, Kriya Yoga, and Jnana. Just all the puja, part, and worship and rituals and chanting and meditation and all that is a purification of the mind. So that finally it can receive the Jnana that the God is not out there, it is in here. So understanding Bhaja Govindam, anyone will not do. Both we need. And that's why after Bhagavad Gita, they didn't stop. They said, you must go to the Ganga, drop of Ganga, practice that what you learned in Bhagavad Gita. And then give everything away. Whatever you've got from the world using this knowledge, give it away. So the 6 important impediments to bhakti is called Atya Ahara, excessively consume and accumulate through any of the senses. So first one is, these are the 6 impediments. First one is Atya Ahara. So Ahara is not just food. Remember, Ahara, Vihara, Nidra, Maithuna, anything, any of the senses, if you use excessively, it will take you away from Navada Bhakti and Bhaja. Then Prayasa, excessive endeavors for worldly success. So the God says, go out there, you're born to enjoy the world. But when you try your best and you don't get it, don't get caught up and angry and double your efforts. Because for some reason, it is not in your best interest to get that right now, either at this point in your life or in this lifetime. So this is called prayasa, to not giving up. No, I will not, until my worldly dreams are accomplished, I will never go towards spirituality. So that is also is an impediment to bhakti. Third is prajalpa, mundane talk, gossip, criticism. Too much talking drains energy, drains. That's why Mauna Vrata, you can, when it becomes a nuclear power inside you, if you not stop talking, but control. And that we'll learn in Hanuman workshop, the power of less talk and also the quality of the talk. If you're criticizing people, if you are judging people, if you are gossiping about people, it will take you away from bhakti. Because what? Because energy loss. Then comes niyama graha, failure to adopt essential regulations or fanatical adherence to regulations. So I just, spirituality is that I don't need to take a bath. I don't need to do puja. I don't need to do japa. I just do good things. I just do good things. Be good and do good. That is also will take you from bhakti. But too much, this left hand and the little finger has to turn like this and the diya has to be here and the karpura has to be there. That also will take you away. Not doing enough practice or too much rigid mechanical practice will take you away from the Sirashya Dhara. It is a sword's edge. You will do the practice, but you're not wedded to the practice. Oh, if I don't do this, and 108 times I said I did 107 times, oh my God, what will happen? What will happen? What will happen? Not doing enough practice or doing too much. Too much. As this has to be like this, otherwise it won't work. That is called Niyama Graha. Then comes Jana Sangha as opposed to Sat Sangha. So association with worldly minded people will make you what? Whoever you are associating with, that is what you will imbibe and cultivate. You will become worldly. Nothing wrong with that. But again, Janma, many, many lifetimes. Punarabi Janaram, Punarabi Manaram. So find the time of people, satsang. People, be in the association of people who are in the process of experiencing the sat or have already experienced it and can tell you, can give you pointers and illumine your path. So Jana Sangha as opposed to Sat Sangha will take you away from this bhakti. Then comes Laula, restlessness of the mind. Laula is restlessness of the mind, which is vacillating between different sadhanas and paths. Oh, today I will do Hinduism, tomorrow I'll do Christianity is very good. Even, little from all religion is good. And Bhakti Yoga, this is good, and Jnana also is a little bit good. Yes, they are all good, but take it to its logical conclusion before you move on to the other one. If you're moving on in the midst of it, the one guru you found, oh, this guru is not as good as the other guru. I hear the other guru speaks better. So this is called Laula. This restlessness of the mind, it's called mental prostitution. Vacillating between different sadhanas and this or that, little bit of this, little bit of that, little bit of that, not doing anything to the full. So no loyalty or nishtha to your path or to your guru. Yeah. That is all I have to say. It's almost time. It took longer today because we had more sessions. And so if you want, if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer. But today we won't have too much time. The whole of the next session, 27th, will be dedicated to recapping all the verses plus question and answer. But if there's anything that didn't quite make sense, I'll be happy and try my best to answer.
Nivedita, what is the third one? The too much of talking that drains the energy and quality of the talk. What is that?
Prajalpa.
Prajalpa.
So it is Atya Ahara, too much excessive consumption through the sense organs. Prayasa, excessive trying. You give your best, but this is called the, prasada bhava. You surrender. You give everything. After you make your 100% effort, you surrender to the God. And whatever you get, you must be happy with that prasad. If you're not happy with that prasad, then you continue to happy with the prasad doesn't mean you will not go out and work anymore. But not accepting and saying that my spiritual practice is on the back burner because I have not got these things. No, as long as you are alive, you will have to live and earn and be part of the society if you're a grihastha and a vanaprastha. But understanding from brahmacharya I have become grihastha, from grihastha I have become vanaprastha, from vanaprastha I have to try and become a sannyasa. That is what this, what is it called? Prayasa talks about. Then Prajalpa is mundane talk, just talking for the sake of talking, or criticizing, or what is it called? Gossiping. Then comes Niyama Graha, not doing any practice because you are so liberal and you don't need anything, just the knowledge, be good, do good, or too much excessive. It has to be just so. Then comes Jana Sangha as opposed to Sat Sangha. And finally, Lola. This no loyalty, nishtha to your path or your guru.
So, Nita, these terms in the last one that you talked about, all of them, can you just put it on the thread, or is it going to be?
You can just write it down now, Janu, or can listen to it. It'll be there on the. I will try to put it also, but it's recorded.
Okay.
It's there.
Okay, that's fine. I'll write it down. Just that I haven't been in
it's in the recording, so you should listen to it again and again, and it will all be there.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was really great. Thank you.
Wealth of knowledge.
Thank you. This is the Acharya, such powerful knowledge in so simple, small verses. All the Vedas condensed into all the Upanishads, condensed into the Bhagavad Gita has been condensed and given to us on a tray. And if we don't even make an effort, my husband always used to say in his IIT that there was this person who could not pass any exam, and the professor felt, had failed twice or three times or something. The professor felt very bad and said, okay, I'm going to give him the work of a previous student. Just say, go and look at this, change your name, do whatever it is, and bring it back. You'll pass this time. And while going, he dropped the pieces of paper. It got all, the order became something. And he made copy, brought it back, forgot to even change the name. The other person's name was there. He gave it to the professor. And again, failed. The professor said, I peeled the onion and gave it to you. And even that you cannot eat. So the Acharya has given us this Bhaja Govindam. If we still don't consume this Bhaja Govindam, then we have no hope.
It was a lot of material today, I have to say. Beautiful
Yes.
session.
We did two extra, one extra verse and then recapping, but please listen to this as many times as you can. And 27th, we will get together. I'll recap everything and I will answer any other questions you might have.
The last two verses are not in the Bhaja Govindam book, right? Where do
No,
I
normally, yeah. The first 12, it's called, actually is attributed to Adi Shankaracharya. The rest till 31st, his disciples have added. The other one is like a concluding statement that, hence the, person who was so dedicated to worldly knowledge after listening to the Acharya finally realized that it's all within. And if I don't make this Bhaja Govindam, if I don't practice Bhaja Govindam, then there is no trahi, no release, no liberation.
Neeta, I have a confession.
Yes.
That I already feel spiritually connected to God. That I don't feel, when I'm in a temple, I don't feel that connection. And I almost, sometimes I feel like, look at their jewelry or whatever. I get distracted and I feel not very good. Is that still that I still need to be, in the ninefold that you talked about? Do I need to still get to that level where I can?
No, you don't have to go to the temple, because if you understand that certain areas or people or situations are very challenging for you, you don't have to start with that. Like I said, start with the other 8 versions. Listen to it. Like here you're listening, nobody's wearing any jewelry, nothing, you're listening, or whatever, you go to an ashram or something. And secondly, reflection and chanting and dhyana and all the other things. It's like I keep telling you, if you are a recovering alcoholic, as soon as you come back from the detox center, you don't get a job in the bar, right? Don't test your bhakti so quickly. If you've understood that the temple is not creating that environment, it's supposed to, it's meant to, and it does for everybody, but for whatever reason it doesn't. Then, because some vasana, some impressions are pulling you out there. You have no power over it. So you go home and you sit and you chant. Control the mind. And then next, when the mind comes under your control, next time you can go to a temple and say, I can go to a temple without checking out anybody's jewelry, whatever it is that bothers you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Neeta. Thank you.
So welcome, Janu. Any other questions for anybody, or we'll call it a day today?
Thank you very much.
Such is
Thank you.
the impact of Bhaja Govindam. At the end of
Oh,
it,
yeah,
you
like that.
realize the enormity of this knowledge.
We have to practice a lot.
Yes, we'll have to practice. And like he said, in that one of the shlokas, little bit, one verse of Gita, don't have to understand everything. Little drop of Ganga, practice little bit. And you practice a lot, Anjiyappa, we know that. And also then serve people. Because anyone missing, the knowledge missing, the bhakti missing, or the service missing is incomplete. If you just serve, no bhakti, no knowledge, not going to work. If you have the knowledge and serve, but no bhakti, that won't work. If you have bhakti and serve, but no knowledge, any of this combination, one factor missing, it's not going to be complete, and you cannot make the journey to finding that Govinda within you. You'll always be looking for it outside you.
I had a question. How do you I mean, suppose you have these various forces, religious or spiritual forces pulling you in different directions. How do you decide which is the right direction for you?
First of all, nobody can pull you anywhere. Nobody can do anything without your permission. You must decide when if you're being pulled, meaning you have a vasana, an impression that is taking you towards there. Like a drunkard, we all go to a party, but those who have a drinking problem will somehow get pulled to the bar. Those who have an obsession with food will continuously be hovering around the food table. Those who are having very much into their body and their clothes and jewelry, they will be checking out everybody. So the same party, the food is not pulling us, the jewelry is not pulling us, the drink is not pulling us. We go because we have a tendency to go in that direction. Once you become, nothing wrong. But is it Janasangha or Satsanga? You're saying religious things, so there should be Satsang. And remember what he said, that what is it called? Lunchita Kesha, that Kashayambara. So just don't go by the look of, oh, this is religious. Everybody's wearing their orange clothes and the matted hair and Rudraksha, so this must be good. If you go there and it doesn't make you feel good, it's not for you. And what is the sign of a guru or a satsang? They must be content and they must not be craving. They must have that peace of mind, equanimity, and they must be able to give you that. If they cannot give you contentment and peace of mind, if you come back agitated, that's not the satsang for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nivedita. That was really amazing.
Right.
And I wanted to just share these lines I just read somewhere, which was very apt for today, like how you summarize, you need jnana, bhakti, and also karma, right? Doing service. So this line says like, Vedanta is essentially mysticism. And if knowledge and wisdom does not lead to love of God, then it's a dry intellectualism. If the love of God does not translate into service to humanity, then it is sheer emotionalism. Work which is done with neither knowledge and wisdom or love and devotion is mechanism.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So we need all the three in a very like a proportion way and that proportion varies for each person, right? Like depending on what you've done in your previous lives and other learnings and things like that, right?
Yes. And there is a progression that is, now that you are familiar with Bhaja Govindam, now you must attempt to learn Bhagavad Gita, next step. And there is a progression. You can't do anything that you feel like doing anywhere. You have to start with Karma Yoga. Sankhya is the overall knowledge, a book of content. Before you start a book or a program, you must know what is in that program. That is Sankhya Yoga, chapter 2. Chapter 3 is Karma Yoga, Karma Sannyasa, Jnana Karma Sannyasa. It's slowly you get prepared. So Jnana doesn't mean from day one, I'm a Jnani and I've just read 4 books and I've become a Jnani. Or Bhakti doesn't mean because I'm constantly chanting, I have become a Bhakta. But without the knowledge, that is a lower level of Bhakti. Or karmas are working so hard. Can you walk away from your results, the good and bad, and create a lot and then give it away? Can you give it away? If you can't, then this is not Karma Yoga. If you don't have the Saranagati and Prasad Bhava, it cannot be Karma Yoga. Okie doke. Thank you. Have a great week. And I will be traveling to India tomorrow, but I will check in next week. It'll be Thursday, my time, Wednesday, your time, for the last session of Bhaja Govindam, where we'll recap the whole Bhaja Govindam, chant the whole thing. And I would really want people, all of you, to pitch in, just write in that group, on that Bhaja Govindam group, 1 or 2 or 5 or 10, whatever you want, to be part of this. That is the beauty of being a part of a group energy. So it would be nice if we have 31 people, even if we do 2 shlokas, 2 verses, it'll get covered. Just read it. If you don't want to sing it, just read it. And everybody joins. Please write there so that we know who is chanting what. Or
actually, if you're Ragini, can just tell us. We'll just do whatever you
okay,
tell.
I will put randomly put names, but if people are not there, then somebody else has to pick up the slack, or I can pick up the slack.
Okay.
Thank you.
Safe travels.
Thank you,
Have a very good
Nivedita.
Nivedita.
Safe travel, Nivedita.